Check me out.
Yeah. Hey, podcast listening people. How you doing today?
Yeah.
Connor Doobie here, your host each and every single episode. First, really appreciate you tuning in. Do us this tiny, it's very small. It's a very small favor. If you'd even pause this podcast right now, wherever you're listening, we're on all your favorite podcast apps. Please leave a review, subscribe, and give us a shout on social media too, wherever you find us. We love your feedback. We appreciate your feedback. We need your feedback to keep making this show great for you. And we have an amazing show for you today. My friend, Carrie Gottschalk. Hopefully I said that okay, Carrie. Sorry if I botched that. Awesome friend. And also very grateful that she is having me in to speak for Social Media Day Denver here in October. But Carrie is actually a highly recognized influencer within the social media industry and has been at the forefront of the social media revolution for over 10 years. Paid social media for 5 years and has managed over $12 million in ad spend, working with large clients like Sherry's Berries, Wyndham Hotels, and TEDx Mile High. With her extensive experience in domestic and international markets, she's known as a skilled social media strategist, advertiser, and has also gained a strong understanding of digital performance metrics and a good portion of her experience in e-commerce direct response and performance marketing. And Carrie is just all around a really awesome human being. I absolutely love talking to her. Just incredibly talented. And I mean, she's just going to continue to blow up. So make sure you go give her a follow, with the links and everything that we will put in the description. Before we jump in real quick, if you have guests you recommend for the show, you want to find a way to partner up, collaborate with Mile High Mentors, something we're always looking to do with local companies and organizations here in the Mile High City, send us an email, milehighmentors@gmail.com. Again, milehighmentors@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you there. Also, if you'd like, you can also just send us a message on social media. We do use Instagram probably the most. So if you want to send us a message there, but we are on Facebook, and you can even reach out to me or Julius directly wherever you find us. And also, this is something we're going to go back to because I feel it's really important. And for anybody to have success and succeed in their life and in their business, you know, you have to have marketing and you have to have the right pieces of marketing. And especially when it comes to if you don't have a ton of budget to put into marketing, you know, LinkedIn really is the perfect platform to build out on, but there's a lot of confusion on how to leverage it. And so, you know, I felt it was very important in the partners of the show to share the resources that we have in that space that are free. And if you want to learn how to put the 7-step process on LinkedIn to reach and close more sales, go visit our partners at activeblogs.com/webinar. And what you're going to get with that is a free training called the Missing Links to LinkedIn Success. It's again, activeblogs.com/webinar. And that is a great resource to help empower you, empower your business, empower your income, which in turn, if you can empower your income, you can turn around and empower more of the people that you're intended to help. All right, folks, with that, please give it up for my friend, Carrie Gottschalk on the Mile High Mentors podcast. Have a conversation. It's all good. So when you see people that you know in Denver now, do you get annoyed because everyone comes up to you like, oh, you're not in like Bali or whatever?
Everyone's like, I get more texts and calls and they're like, so where are you? Are you here? Or what country are you in? I'm actually here for a couple months. So yeah.
It's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I've dressed up as her for the last 2 years for Halloween.
That is legit.
A giant brown wig and a hat and just have nailed it.
I thought she was redheaded.
No, is she? She wears a
The
red
cartoon,
hat
right?
and a red jacket.
Good. Oh, she's redheaded? Yeah.
Fine, whatever. I thought mine was pretty point on. But
Yeah? Do you have pictures? You have to share
I do have
those
photos.
later. So you're going to do the same thing this year then? Just
I
every
already
year?
have. I've been to 10 countries already. So my last trip was in May, and I just got back from Colombia. And then I'm kind of resting right now, preparing for September. And then I'm traveling all September for conferences speaking.
How was Colombia?
Hot. It
Colombia
was
is
awesome, though. It was really pretty. We were down in Medellin and in Cartagena, but it was so humid that we mostly went out like after 5 to go explore something or like super early in the morning.
So how did you get into the whole travel entrepreneur, deal?
Well, I've always
Deal?
been a
I don't know what, not
traveler.
deal, but
One thing that people don't know about me is I'm also a dual German citizen, and my father's from Hamburg, Germany, and half of my family is over there. So I started traveling at a very young age, and
And you were born there?
no, he was born there, and all the family resides over there. But I was lucky enough. I don't know how they got me both passports, but I can go there when I want. And one of the biggest things that I didn't like about working in a corporate office was having to sit in a chair from 8 to 5 and only getting 2 weeks off, to go travel. That's not enough time. So I decided when I quit, and went independent, I also was going to travel and work remote. And I tested it first from 3 countries. I went through Portugal, Spain, and Morocco, and it went really well. So then I just took off again and I think did another 7. And that went well and just kept it going over the last 2.5 years, and in the last 2.5 years I think I've been to 22 countries since then working remote.
Dang. So you had like a hub. Actually maybe bring that up a little closer to you.
Okay.
You're so quiet. You're so much more quiet on the than I thought you were going to be. Speaking in front of all these people all the time.
Yeah, I still need to get used to projecting. It's like you're right here, so.
Yeah. So you have like a family hub out there, which makes it a little easier, going abroad, and that kind of hooked you on traveling. Quite, cause it's like once you do it, you realize how easy it is, and it becomes almost addicting to like travel around the world.
It really is addicting, and one of the things too is I had a WeWork membership right away. So I also discovered that I could work independently over there and go to all these offices and really focus. And the other thing too, the first 3 countries I did were with friends, and I finally went off and did solo travel and just fell in love with it and found out that I could be 10 times more productive over there. Because I was on my own schedule, no one was bothering me. I could get up super early and work. I could go explore for the day. By the time I got home at 5, the U.S. was waking up, and I'd schedule all my calls in the U.S. time before noon so I could take the calls in the evening and then just repeat and do it again.
Yeah. Dang. So, okay, where were you born originally, if you're...
In Palo Alto, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cali girl, huh? And how long ago did you move here?
I've lived all over. I've probably been in Denver for 10 years, but I lived in California, Iowa, Michigan, Iowa, and then came to Colorado after college.
What was that like?
It was nice. It's been fun. Colorado has definitely progressed since I've been here. I mean, I've lived in the same area downtown by Union Station, and I even remember the old Union Station, there being no buildings there, and now there's like a new building in every corner that you see. Literally,
yeah. I moved down here like 8 years ago from Fort Collins, and it was just a field, like everything down there where the Whole Foods is, where the mall ride is. It was all a bunch of empty fields. It's insane how it's exploded out here. So
even the mall ride changed, and the bus underground terminal and the old stop on 16th and just like everywhere is now completely different. But it's so much fun. There's so much opportunity just to go see the city. There's so much to experience, and then. One of my guilty pleasures is being a foodie, and I love all the new restaurants popping up. So there's always somewhere new to go, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Denver food scene's been pretty lackluster for the most part compared to other places in the world. I mean, you're a traveler, but it's improving for sure.
Right, there's a lot more diverse food here, and I found a lot of places that kind of tailor to a certain food or cuisine or have a chef that, I noticed just coming back from Israel, all the new places like Ashkara and the food. And I'm like, oh, now I want real hummus. Where do I go to find it? Or to go to Safta to get the shashuka or just whatever you're looking for. Like getting back from Barcelona, we now have the Barcelona Wine Bar and you can get the paella and just,
Yeah. I lived in Barcelona for a little bit.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That's fun.
Yeah, but I know Barcelona Wine Bar is great. Authentic Israeli food. I think Ben Higgins we've had in here before. Is that the restaurant? Is that the one he owns that you're referring to?
I'm not sure what restaurant he owns.
Yeah, it is an Israeli restaurant, or one he invested into. That he was telling us about, but I couldn't remember the name of it.
It's probably one of those two, I might guess, but I'm not 100% sure. But those two popped up within the last year, and they are just spot on after coming back. I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's fantastic.
Good hummus. It's a good way
hummus,
to go. Yeah.
Yes.
So you mentioned you kind of went through like the traditional career path. Tell us a little bit about that, or actually start off kind of like what your journey was. You went to college, right?
Yeah, so I went to college at Iowa State, and I was very lucky to get kind of a adult job in college working for the newspaper, selling print advertising back in the day. And we were, moving into the online first mentality, putting in rate cards for website ads. And I was trying to merge the ad department with the editorial department. And if you know anything about a newsroom, that typically doesn't happen. They all butt heads. So we were able to get the newsroom more into an online first mentality and develop out the social media side. And that's kind of where my social media journey started. Once I came to Denver, I went through agencies, and I went through typical new business development, sales, to then becoming a strategist, to then learning about all the digital advertising as it rolled out a few years ago. And then my last job was with Media News Group. So I ended up back in the newspaper as the director of digital operations, running all the paid social media spend in all of Australia, Germany, and Canada.
Dang.
They're
here?
Yeah, they're out of the Denver Post. So I was working with Ad Taxi. Sorry, they're the digital side of it. But then, what didn't make sense to me is that I was in a chair from 8 to 5, but I'd have to go in early to talk to Germany. I'd have to stay late to talk to Australia. I was managing at one point 180 accounts. So it's like no one got the attention they needed. I wanted to work my own hours, and I would just kind of jump ship and was like, you know what, I can do this on my own. I'll figure it out. So that's the other thing that I like to share with people too, is you don't have to 100% jump ship. When I left, I contracted with an agency part-time that let me also grow my business part-time. So I kind of
What does that mean? So people can understand that.
Of course. So the agency I was contracting with was Wide Focus, and they guaranteed me 30 hours a week. So at that rate, that's, somewhat of a stable paycheck. But at the other time, I was hustling and doing another 20 to 30 hours independently, building my business, building up my contract work. And as long as it was my own leads and not their leads, we were able to have a good separation. And
this was a biz dev, business development type role? Yeah. So they paid you like an hourly, and did they have this role open? Because this is interesting for people listening, did you kind of develop out that role for them, or they had this open and you stepped in and took it over?
I had a relationship with them already. I'd contracted with them previously. So I came in to manage the ad campaigns on their side, and then was trying to figure out on my side, did I want to do advertising? That same year was the year I learned about chatbots. Their agency at the time didn't want to focus on chatbots, so I was allowed to take that off and do that all on my own. And then once my business got big enough, I was able to leave and then grow my business. So I've been independent now for, I'd say maybe a little over a year and a half, but I still have a working relationship with them where we refer business back and forth. That agency is very good at content and copy. So I go to them and I'll give them anyone that needs like the social media content side. And then when it comes to what I decided to do independently was the digital advertising side, specifically niched down in e-commerce and direct response. So what I focus on now is running ads for businesses in health, wellness, and athleisure. So like hiking clothes, running shoes, leggings, fitness bands.
Is this just so you get free product for the most part?
No, that's a perk, but
you're like, what genre do I want to go into that I can,
I don't want to go into like HVAC or something.
Well, you need someone to fund all your travel clothes and your hiking and backpacking, attire, so I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah, it
seemed to work
Like,
out well for you.
I went into an industry that I liked, which also helped, was able to build that up. And then I've been working with chatbots since fall 2017, but it really didn't take off. People weren't really understanding what they were until this year. And this
You think people even now still really understand?
Getting there.
Because I don't understand. I'm in marketing, and I was actually really fascinated to pick your brain on this some more.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
This year they're exploding. So basically, being a Facebook advertiser and digital marketer, they opened up the option, instead of sending traffic simply to a website or a landing page, you can now send them into Facebook Messenger. And what they're calling this is conversational commerce.
From paid ads?
From paid ads.
What is it like? Chat with one of our sales reps or something like that? Or
So if you were to run a typical hook for leggings, get 25% off, go here, or like a lead gen, go fill out our form. Marketers have a little bit ruined marketing on landing page forms where people don't want to fill them out. They're scared to give away their email because they think they're just going to get email spammed.
Yeah.
But if you can push people in a messenger and automate that conversation through the chatbot, people are more likely to answer your questions if you're having a conversation with them and through a conversational tone. And you're going to be able to extract more valuable, more accurate information from them. And you can also get their email, their phone number, but you're not getting them as a traditional lead. You're getting them as a messenger subscriber. And this is the big part about messenger marketing, is now if you send a broadcast or a message out, similar to kind of how you'd send an email out, you just want it a little bit different within the tone. People are reading these within the first 10 minutes, a 30 to 40% open rate. By the end of the day, an 80 to 90% read rate, a 30 to 40% click-through rate.
Oh, I believe it. Because when that pops up and you're, when you're scrolling through your feed, that's almost hard to ignore.
Right, and it's coming to you similar to how a friend would text you. So you need to make sure the information you're giving away is valuable. One of the clients I work with locally is TEDx Mile High. So we'll offer people early bird discount pricing. If they send us the message SAVE, we'd give them a special code, then they can go buy their ticket. We'll also ask them if they're interested in winning a free backstage pass to one of our events or meet the speakers or something. High value, low cost.
Like send them a message?
Yep.
But they would have had to subscribe in to get those messages
through
somehow.
the Facebook ad that said send us a message, then it pushes them into Messenger opposed to a landing page or a website page.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It works though. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. And do people realize for the most part that it's mostly like AI or machine learning backed, or?
If you set them up correctly, it shouldn't feel that way. What we're trying to teach right now is with messenger marketing, too much of it sounds like marketing. One of the tools that I like to use is the informality of chatting with someone.
Yeah.
So when we offered people that discount to save on early bird tickets, I'd follow up with them a day later and be like, oh, hey, Connor, buddy, I forgot to mention this yesterday. We're also giving away a free backstage pass. Would you be interested in winning? Let me know if this is the best email to contact you.
Wait, you personally monitor these? And
I would program the message to be sent to them to sound informal, to sound like a friend is texting them.
I see.
And people love it. They'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me.
Dang.
So it should sound like that, but then there are people that also know that I do this, and a lot of people are like, thanks, CarryBot.
CarryBot.
CarryBot,
Yeah, people locally, they all know you.
They know it's me.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So let's take just a small step back, and then I want to circle back on that real quick. Is a lot of people that listen into the show are, they want to dive into entrepreneurship, or they're a professional or even a student. And so, when you were going through school, did you ultimately have the intention of entrepreneurship, or did you kind of land yourself in that traditional corporate job, and then from your experience there, you're like, this isn't for me?
That's a really good question. I feel I was spoiled with my first experience because I did do outside sales.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even used to being in an office. I just had to stop in to fill out my paperwork when I made a sale, and the other time I was on the road meeting clients. I also started in sales in Denver, and after a couple agencies sitting inside, I just knew I felt trapped.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to get back out, figure out how to do this. And this is a perfect tool right now because it's mobile. I can take my laptop anywhere and do this work. So I knew it was an end goal to be independent. I just had to build up enough confidence in my skill set. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. I mean, still to this day, I get imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs. It's like, even right now, 2.5 years in, I have those moments like, what are you doing?
Right.
Is this going to work? And then the next day you close a bunch of sales and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm awesome. This is great.
I know. It's that constant roller coaster, right?
It is that constant roller coaster. And it's, this far in, I realize.
How do you manage that?
A lot of it's mindset. I try to wake up every morning. I fill out a gratitude journal. I'll go for a run. I'll clear my head. I'll focus the night before. I set my schedule. I know my meetings. I know my tasks. So as long for me as I'm organized, that's just how I work best. I feel like I'm going to get through it. And I also have a strong community and support system. So one of the biggest things I did when I went independent too is I started to go to conferences and find other people doing the exact same thing. So even though I don't have coworkers in an office, I have people I chat and Zoom with throughout the day and ask questions to. And even like a good friend I've been working with over the last 2 weeks downtown at WeWork, he'll ask me about Chatbots and I'll go coach him. I'll ask him, is my Google Tag Manager set up correctly? Because I don't know what I'm doing in here, and we learn from each other.
Yeah. That's like the future. That's really, I think, where a lot of people have said that is like the future of careers is almost everyone's their own entrepreneur, like their own, working, managing several different businesses rather than just like tied and married to one company.
Right. I agree. And I think it's good to have those resources and realize everyone is there for each other. We're not competition. We're there to help each other too. So that's really important to have that mindset. I have a couple really good girlfriends that also do chatbots. And they're like, you guys aren't competing with each other? I'm like, no, I send people to Kelly Noble all day for video training on how to learn about them. If someone needs something built, she sends them back to me. My friend Amanda has a Facebook ads course. I send them over to her. I'm like, don't you do ads too? And I'm like, yeah, but there's enough clients for all of us to go around. We independently could probably
only... There are 7 billion people on this planet, people.
Exactly.
It's interesting. Yeah, collaborate versus compete. I think... That's a rare mindset to have. I think that's probably benefited you in a lot of ways.
It has, because we all help each other, and at the end of the day, no one should be handling more than 10 clients probably with what we do at a time, and if we are, they're not going to get the attention. So it's great just to have that referral network of business too, where we can send people to other individualized specialists. So even with YouTube or LinkedIn, I'd send someone to someone that specialized in that area, because people look at social media as this big bubble of if you can do one, you should be able to do the other. And it's like, if you do one well, just stick to one and do it well, and you're going to get more business that way than trying to dabble in all of the platforms.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Specialist rather than... we
Generalist.
Than generalist, yeah. I mean, we live in a world where we, the buyer, whoever that is, whether it's a brewery or it's a, IT SaaS company, they have access to everything and information. So, like, who would they rather hire, an expert versus a generalist? And if you have your lane that you focus in, your business is going to explode better than if you try to just, do everything or be everything to everybody.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Nobody can manage that. Too much.
It is too much
space. Like, imagine trying to be, like, position yourself as, I'm an Instagram expert and Facebook and a LinkedIn expert all in one. There's so much depth and complexity to each social media platform that people don't realize.
There really is. I mean, even if you do a YouTube video and getting ranking up properly, like, and having your YouTube help your SEO. And then people ask, they're like, well, if you do Facebook advertising, do you do Google and PPC? And it's like, that's its own beast too. There's a whole different algorithm to that. And, recently I've had a lot of people with chatbots ask me if I wanted to launch products on Amazon. And I'm like, I don't know the Amazon algorithm.
They have chatbots on Amazon?
I watched about 5 hours of video yesterday trying to be self-taught on all of this. And it's like you have to do so many products per so many days to get Amazon ranking appropriately. And it's its own other world, too.
It's too hot in here to look good. Can't do it. Couldn't pull it off any longer.
That's why I wore the dress today.
I know. I left my dress at home today. So
I'm sad we don't match.
I know. Well, you didn't. You were supposed to text me the colors and the item of clothing. I would have matched you. Would have been like the twin emoji.
There we go.
So, okay, we were talking about chatbots. Okay, so in the overarching arena of marketing, like, where do chatbots lie? because this is new. I mean, I've been in marketing since I was 7 years old, and so like chatbots are something I know nothing about. Where does that fall in the whole, category of sales and marketing?
So that's a really good question. A lot of people look at it, it's like its own bubble, its own space, and really how it developed is just as an extension of the Facebook advertising platform. So that's how I got into it, being a Facebook advertiser with this new opportunity opening up for another place to market in. I decided I was going to test messenger marketing, and once I got in there, you could then automate the conversation. So I figured I'd learn how to build them. So it is still kind of all falls under Facebook advertising. It goes to the Facebook Messenger app. They have opened it up to Instagram messaging and WhatsApp messaging. But you can use very simple tools like ManyChat, Chatfuel, Mobile Monkey to build these.
These are third-party tools that they're not a part of Facebook.
Correct.
Got it. When the social media, when they shut you down for stuff like that, for third-party tools? They
didn't have it built yet natively. Now Facebook is trying to push it natively, but it's still allowed. And you're not coding is the other misconception. People have asked me, like, do you know Python? I have no idea. I can't even look at that because it confuses me.
Like at the zoo?
Yes, exactly. It's really just, there's two forms of conversations that happen in Messenger. There's button-based navigation and then the free language.
Explain. What does that mean?
So what that means is I ask you a question. If you were to come into my chat bot for Social Media Day Denver, it would say, hey, Connor, how can I help you today? And it'd give you 4 buttons. What's the schedule? Meet the speakers. What are we having for food? And when's the after party? Those are probably
the important things.
The important things, exactly. And you'd click on the button, and then you'd get a programmed answer. So basically, it's like an if-then type of box connection, where it's self-navigated, so people can like you'd click on a tab on a website. So if you clicked on the home button on the website, you got the home information. If you clicked on the agenda on the website, you'd get the agenda information. So it's all pre-programmed for self-navigation. Now, the free language, if someone were to message the bot or text you like they're texting a friend and say, hey, when's lunch? I can program those key words in there to trigger a response. So I'd pick up on lunch, food, kind of typical, similar keywords that would associate with that. And it'd respond, hey, are you asking about this? Yes or no? They click yes, and then we give them the lunch and food menu and all that information. So it's still not too AI, and it's not as complex as it seems.
It's like just a little kind of like a rudimentary version of AI.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which isn't that, it's probably not even to the point yet where it can have the full-on conversation with you.
If you are a true programmer and very high-tech and advanced, yes, but I am not there. And they
learn Python.
I don't know about that. I don't think it's going to happen. But there are also a lot of online free learning platforms. So ManyChat has its own free learning platform as well, and that's where I learned last year. I learned from Molly Pittman. They're coming out with a new learning platform this year that's going to be a little bit updated. My friend Kelly Noble's putting that together. And I mean, if there's anything you want to learn or kind of stuck on, I literally watch YouTube videos for hours and I'm self-taught. And I will just Google, how do I connect ManyChat to Acuity for online scheduling?
Yeah.
And there's a 20-minute video, and usually you can set it up in an hour or two and figure it out on your own.
That's amazing. Wow. So like this all came about from ads, marketers, because we ruin everything.
We do.
We're just so good at that. But and there's a ad format where you would like run an ad and it would be a one-on-one message to somebody.
Yep,
so say, hey Carrie, Social Media Day Denver. I love how we're like plugging this out. Social Media Day Denver is blah blah blah, and then it just drop like into your inbox basically.
Into your messenger.
Into your messenger.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a messenger destination ad, so into your messenger inbox, not your email. Not
your email inbox. Your inbox native to the platform.
Correct.
Got it. How long has Facebook been doing those for? That kind of ad?
Since 2017, maybe super late 16, but I think it got
interesting
public in 2017, and that's kind of when I picked up on it. It was March, so I think it might have actually been fall 2016, but close enough. Just a few months away.
And I don't get a lot of those. Are they pretty? I would imagine they're probably pretty more. They must be more expensive than newsfeed ads.
They're actually pretty cheap. I can typically get a landing page lead gen for only $2. And that's just the form fill in the email, but we can convert messenger leads for 40 cents to $1. And you're getting not only the messenger subscriber, but you also can then extract that email phone number. And what's great about that type of lead, I'm going to nerd out a little bit, is you don't have to fill that information in. It is extracted from your Facebook profile, so it just says, is this the best email to reach you at? And it's already pre-populated. So you're going to get a more accurate email, because people that use their email to log into Facebook is going to be more accurate than their junk email that they put into a landing page because they feel like they're going to get spammed.
Interesting. So is this the dominant ad, if you had to pick one ad spend towards the other? Because we're actually... I'm now considering starting to dive into Facebook ads, but we're in such a, we do B2B sales, like really complex, like IT, tech, telecom, biotechnology. And so we've been so back and forth, my business partner and I on the LinkedIn side on the Facebook side. And it's like, I didn't even know this existed. So now my wheels are actually turning talking about this a little bit.
It's really good for lead generation and nurturing right now.
Yeah.
Not so good for direct sales. So if you still are an e-commerce product, you want to use the conversion ads with the pixels. But right now it's really good just to get people in, to talk to them. And then you usually can get the sale on the back end, but you're not going to get someone in Messenger and then sell them that day, most likely.
Well, yeah, anything that's higher ticket, higher dollar. Right. Hopefully you're not, well, that'd be cool if you're like, yeah, I'll buy your, $100,000 service like directly here through LinkedIn or through Facebook.
Right.
I got LinkedIn on my mind.
It'll answer questions. You can send them reminders. You can provide value and news. You just need to make sure you're treating it, one, different than email, because everyone tries to manipulate this with email and it ruins it. People don't want to get messages that often. You want to make sure you're asking questions and providing value. So that's the other thing too is, let's say you grow that Messenger subscriber list to 10,000 people just to be like, hey, here's my product. Do you want to buy it today? Instead of, hey, how's your day going? Did you know this or do you have questions? How can I help you? Let me have a conversation with you. And then that's how people end up getting to the sales. And the other thing that has been working really well over the last 6 months for me is also getting people from Messenger into a call center so that then they can sell over the phone after they're asking questions, because you can only get so much answered via text, and they're like, why don't you just call me and let me help you, let me help explain this to you, and then they're closing them on the phone. Wow.
So then they're calling into like a third-party call center for Nike or something like that.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. So, what kind of products, services, what would be the main thing that this would be most useful for, chatbots?
The way I kind of qualify clients or figure out if it's going to work for them or not is I'll ask them if they already have a proven lead gen system, and we'll just manipulate that and use the bot framework. If they don't know their lead gen system, if they don't know their cost per lead, if they don't know their hooks or anything, and if they're starting from scratch, they kind of already need that proven model and proven method to understand if it's then going to work in Messenger, because at the end of the day, it's not a solve all fix all if they don't have their marketing 101 for their business figured out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just absorbing right now. Keep giving me the gold. Eyes. Yeah. No, really, it's fascinating. So, and you've been doing that full time for a year now at this point. Yeah.
Well, I launched my first bot in the fall of 2017 for TEDx Mile High.
So when you say you launched a bot, that's per company page? You launch a bot per campaign?
Yeah, I built my first bot and put it out in front of the public, I guess, in fall of 2017. That one was a little bit different because we put it in front of 5,000 people at TEDx's fall event. And you also, to get people in there, you don't just have to use ads. we had a giant poster board with a QR code on it that people could scan to opt in to get the event schedule for the day. So we were able to get 10% of the audience to organically opt in, no money behind it, just to use it as a resource for the event. So there's a lot of different ways to use them. And what we did with that audience then is we remarketed to them a discount to our next event in the spring, offering discounted ticket prices. And we only spent another $1,000 on ads to grow that list. And at the end of the day, I think we saw a 5x return on ad spend. So,
dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really effective. People felt like, oh, this is so cool. Someone's texting me. They're offering this. I get it first. And they were in there and they were buying the tickets to the next event.
Wow. So do you like run your business on commission of like driving sales, or you just kind of work on retainer?
Most of my clients are on retainers, unless we scale our media spend, past 10,000 where it's worth it to do a 10% of ad spend or something. And with the chatbots, I usually build the bot and do that on a project fee. So they're just paying for the bot build, similar how you'd pay for a website. And then we put them on a retainer to run the ads into the bot, because it's not like, I kind of joke around being from Iowa, if you build it, they will come type of thing. You have to drive traffic to it.
Yeah.
I built bots before and they're like, we don't need the retainer. And then a month later, they're like, this thing isn't working. And I was like, you have no traffic going into it. We need to push people into it for it to work.
Yeah.
They're not just going to find it on their own.
I know. When you keep saying build a bot, I just keep thinking of you like building like a little robot that's like talking to people.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just
That's
a
that's
text
immediately
conversation.
Is it like how time intensive is it to like build from start to finish? Could a dum like me like learn that from scratch pretty easily?
I've taught people, and I usually can teach people pretty quickly. I'm actually hosting 2 or 3 workshops in September on how to build them. And once people get in there, they figure it out and they just have so much fun with it. To build it correctly,
can you make it say goofy things?
You can make it say hilarious things. You can put GIFs in it. I do that all the time.
Can you send video?
Yes, you
with
can.
It? Could it be a video? Like if I recorded a video of myself, basically like, hey, by the way, we got this, value video. If you want to opt in below, like check it out or something like that.
Yep, I actually have someone that we just put a video in last month for that he personally does the introduction. So it feels like it's coming from him. He's sitting at home. It just has to be under 60 seconds, and then it looks like you're starting a conversation with him.
Wow.
So it's more personalized.
Wow, the wheels are turning. This is a whole new world, Carrie.
I'm excited.
That's exciting. Where do you think the future of all this is going?
I'm not sure. I just hope marketers don't break it and that we get to keep
No, we're going to break it.
We already are getting close. They recently have a new rule for broadcasts because too many people are pushing too many offers. So now if you want to send people a message, you have to follow up within a day so that it's value-based. And if you are pushing a promotion, you now have to pay for it.
Huh.
Yeah, it's already getting close to being broken in the next month or two, but there are workarounds if you're building them and setting them up correctly.
Broken because a lot of people are flooding in to the...
They're using the send message tool. And I actually recall back in college, I was working with the mobile marketing, so the text message marketing to your phone. Back when we had the send 57812 to 2256 to get updates on the sports game or something.
I get random ones now. I'm like, where did you come from? Like, I didn't opt in for this.
Right, and those failed because people were sending a message out a day and it was bothering people and it didn't provide value and they were simply trying to sell through the phone. So using messenger marketing now, reflecting from 10 years ago, you still got to use it as a personalized device that provides value. You can't send a message to people every day or else you're going to annoy them and they're going to opt out and block it and report it, and then you're going to get banned from Facebook.
Got it. So I could, through my personal profile, set up a bot and like send it through my personal connections?
No, it has to go through a business page. But for you, what some people are doing is they'll ask, so it's another second level of subscription-based opt-in, hey, Carrie, do you want to be reminded the next time I have a podcast episode that goes live? Or do you want to be reminded the next time I go live on Facebook? They'll say yes or no. If they say no, leave them alone. If they say yes, then you can send out a reminder.
Are you sure? Like automatically?
Yeah. Are you positive?
Are you positive?
Well, you can put a funny GIF behind it if they say no. That's something that works too to reactivate them.
Just like a crying face?
You definitely can. People
My
love
goodness.
that.
That's so cheesy though.
It is, but it works. And people won't
cheesy
unsubscribe.
works sometimes. Yeah?
But then you could send them a reminder 10 minutes before you go live on Facebook, just so you got more viewership on that Facebook live video.
And how do they get notified? Like, if they opt into that, how would they get notified?
Schedule a message to be sent out to them 10 minutes before you go live, and they could watch live or watch the replay to bump the viewership.
Interesting. Yeah. So if I have a company page starting from scratch from day one, then I would do this paid ad campaign to get people in to opt in, and then I can continue to nurture them over and over and over again. Which I have to pay each time I hit them, or once they're opted in?
Once they're opted in, they're good. And then if they say yes, I want to hear more, then you can send them that message without paying for it, because it's not promotional at that point, because they asked to be notified. Asked to be notified.
Yeah, got it. Okay, interesting. So what else? What are some other misconceptions about this arena?
Just, it's just making sure people don't misuse it. That's it. If it's used correctly, it provides value. People love it. Misconceptions are people using it like email and writing like email marketing content. Again, the beauty of the tool is how you can be informal. You can be like, oh, hey, Connor, I forgot to mention this yesterday. Here's a funny video and a GIF. Like, you can use it to be conversational, and that's how you want to use it, because you're going to get the best response if it sounds more human than if it sounds more bot.
Yeah, but if someone responds and it's like, are you a robot or something, and then can you live monitor those
you
as
can.
well? Interesting.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you can set up a notification for it to ping you if it doesn't have a programmed answer.
Yeah.
And you could be like, what I put in one of mine for an event was, oh shoot, you stumped me. Let me go get my human. And they all knew that was me. And I was like, hey, Carrie here. How can I help you?
Got it.
So you can let people know too that, this is automated, but let me go grab someone real quick to talk to you in person.
Interesting. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, tell us about Social Media Day. When did you get into that, start developing that out? Which, by the way, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. It's going to be a great time.
I'm excited to have you.
Realize you're going to have the most high energy speaker. Might scare people out of the room.
We're going to make you go first in the morning then. First
make
slot.
Me go first?
You're going to open.
All right, I'll open.
I went 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I was attending as a regular audience member. Last year, I spoke on stage for the first time, and this year I'm co-producing it. So it's been a fun experience. I'm excited to be co-producing it with Erin Sell. She's been running it for 4 years, and it keeps growing every year. So I just asked her. She
founded it originally?
I know she's been doing it for 4 years. I don't think there was an event prior. I knew there were micro events for Social Media Day,
right?
Like little meetups, but I don't think there was a big actual Denver conference. So we actually got it certified, validated by the city as a national holiday. We got links to it tied to our event. And it's just...
Say a national holiday?
It is. It's the Social Media Day was June 30th, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your guys' doing?
No, I mean, it's a national holiday.
Oh, I see.
But then most of the small social media days or social media weeks happen across the U.S. There was one big one in San Diego, one in Lima. There was just one in Houston. So there's one in Florida somewhere. There's a list of cities that celebrate it by doing these conferences.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the biggest intent behind doing the conferences?
Just celebrating and bringing awareness to social media and what it's doing. It's more than, just playing on Facebook.
Crazy.
Yeah. There is good intent behind it. There are good use cases. It really can help businesses. It's not always just a time suck or all the negative connotation around social media. It is really a tool that's there to help you if you're using it correctly. And we're there to educate and inspire people on how to use it correctly and how it's changing and how people can take advantage of it.
I have a really good friend who does Facebook ads out in Boulder. And do you find yourself when you're managing client stuff, you get like sucked into the Facebook feed from time to time? Like, how do you avoid that?
I'm a little different because I evaluate and click on all the ads to see how they work and see what people are doing. So mine's more like market research, or that's at least my excuse.
Yeah, right. Oh, these leggings look nice.
Yeah, what are they offering?
Yeah.
What's their discount?
What's the funnel, you know?
Exactly.
Is this a chatbot or... Yeah.
Yep.
I know. It's funny when you're on the other side of things, like as a marketer, you're always looking at things, like you're always like going through people's, you know, ads and funnels, and you're like bing, 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 and you're the one racking up their like their spend and everything. Right. But just observing. I've learned so much just following people's like ads down the rabbit hole, like no interest in what they do, but just like seeing the progression. You know, it's very artful if it works.
I've been clicking on a lot more messenger ads, but then they're like respond an hour later like, oh hey, how can we help you? I'm like, I'm not really interested. I was just seeing if you had this set up correctly. I'm sorry. I was like, I haven't figured out what the correct polite response is yet.
Wasn't it a robot?
Well, some of them will automate into like a human will answer if they don't have it set up properly, and a lot of people don't. So it's also a lead gen opportunity for me if I see that it's not set up properly.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the funniest thing. You land on someone's website and it's like, hey, Connor, how's it going? How can I help you? I'm like, just passing through these parts. Don't mind me.
Looking.
That's hilarious.
Yep, that's a fun. I used to, around the holidays, this is terrible, but I'll go leave stuff in shopping carts. Because you know you're going to get retargeted with another discount. It's like, don't ever buy anything once, you know, first, don't listen to me because I do this for a living.
Yeah, you guys hear that? If you're live right now, these are legit, you know, tricks from Carrie herself.
That are going to ruin my conversion rates.
Oh, she's ruining her own conversion rate. Don't buy from the shopping cart right away. Just leave it.
For a day.
Just let it sit. Just let it sit for a day. You'll get a bigger discount that way.
Probably.
Yeah. You should write that as a motto. Let it sit for a day, bigger discount that way.
I think I'd lose all my clients.
Yeah, probably. We should skew away from that topic then. Well, cool. So what else else are you focused on? What are some topics that, you know, you want to bring up, or, you know, anything that you've done a bunch of podcasts, like what are people not talking to you about that you just like really want to get out there?
Everyone, you know, it's so funny about how my brand grew and how the podcast interviews grew, because I think they want to hear about what I do with Facebook ads and chatbots. And at the end of the day, they don't care. They just want to know how I travel and where I'm going. But that brings back the attention full circle to having to be forced to talk about what I do that allows me to do that. So it's been very interesting over the last 2.5 years how travel has actually promoted my personal business, because it's a hobby that interests people tied to what I do. Opposed to like, if I was, I don't know, there could be some book nerds out there, but if I was just reading books all day, every day, people would not want to interview me about what books I was reading.
I love books. Yeah, I'd ask you about what books you're reading. I guarantee there's a book podcast out there somewhere.
There is, but it hasn't got me the amount of attention that travel has. Yeah. And it's always fun to show people the lifestyle. They're like, how was your vacation? I'm like, well, I still worked 8 hours a day. I don't know if I'd call it a vacation, but that's been the interesting part. And then just, you know, the introduction to chatbots and having people really understand it's not its own thing. It was an extension from the Facebook ads platform, and it's just developed out that way. Outside of that, the other thing with being an entrepreneur is really building that community. So one of the most valuable things, and I mentioned this, is going to those conferences and building out that community. I went to Social Media Marketing World. I went to Traffic and Conversion. I met a lot of the speakers, and one of the things I had to tell myself the first year is not to be shy and that you can be friends with anyone. When I first learned about chatbots in 2017, I was listening to Molly Pittman. She was the VP.
I've listened to her podcast before. Traffic and Conversion?
Her podcast is Perpetual Traffic.
Perpetual Traffic. Yeah, man, I was listening to that back when Julius and I were knocking doors at Anderson. I was just like, trying to learn about marketing and stuff. So
yeah,
it's funny you bring her up. I haven't heard her name in a while.
Well, I was like, oh my God, this person on stage, and was intimidated by her the first year. And then all of a sudden last year, I'm like, these are the people I want to be friends with this year. And I'm going to be friends with them, and I'm not going to be shy. And then just 2 months ago, what is it, July? Just in May 23rd on my birthday, her and Ezra Firestone invited me to moderate their event. And I was like, holy cow. So a lot of it was just learning to be able to be friends with them and look at them as mentors that can help you, and that they're just normal people too at the end of the day. And having those friendships and connections have provided the most opportunity. After I became friends with her, she actually referred me over to speak at ManyChat conversations and to do digital hours for a digital marketer. And I'm like, how do these people want me on their show? Why are people listening to me? And everyone's like, it's not just the referral, you've owned it. So instilling that confidence in yourself that, you're capable of achieving these things, and it doesn't have to take 5 to 10 years, that you can do it in a year or two just by practicing, learning. I'll listen to podcasts all day. Every time I'm driving or walking, I have one on. If I get asked to do a project that I'm not sure of, I sat for 5 hours yesterday and watched YouTube videos to figure it out. So also, investing in that self-education too needs to be part of your day and daily and weekly routine.
Yeah, but here's the difference between why that's been successful for you is you're actually taking action on it after the fact. You're not just consuming hours of content and then not doing anything with it, which I think is a pitfall a lot of people find themselves in.
If they do, even with the chatbots or Facebook ads, set up a dummy account for yourself or for your business. That's it. And then go in there and practice on your own. Mm-hmm. So you don't always have to do it for a client. And when you're first starting out, you're probably not going to be paid. I volunteered to build probably over 10 chatbots that I built for free before I started getting paid to build them, because I needed the practice. I needed to be a practitioner. And then once I was able to build these, have a few case studies, have a few referrals, then I had a resume put together where I could go out and ask for money and ask to be compensated, and price and quote these out appropriately.
Mm-hmm. What's the one resource that has helped you most in your life?
Oh gosh. probably listening to podcasts and watching the YouTube videos, just because a lot of it's self-education.
Yeah.
On top of that,
I'm not talking about the technical stuff. You have something unique up here that is different. You have a really strong mindset, but you have a very success-driven mindset. And I know I've studied successful people since I was 13 years old. So where do you get that from? It's not from YouTube videos. Unless you're talking about YouTube videos from someone inspirational, but is there someone you've studied or something that's kind of kicked off that mentality for you?
I think it's just I've always been independent and career driven. I mean, I remember, gosh, when are you allowed to get your first job? Is it at 12 or 14? How old do you have to be?
I was washing dishes at 13. 14.
I think I asked my mom
at a restaurant
because I wasn't old enough to work if I could get a paper out at 10 or something then to try and circumvent the process. So I don't know if it's just how I was raised, being independent, but I've always had that I'll figure it out, I can do it anyways type of thing, and I'll be resourceful enough to get there, and just the strategic thinking of what's the next step. I truly don't know where I get that from. I could say my mom, she'd love if she was listening and if I said that. She's always been strong and independent, but it always was, it's great, I just did this. What if I do this for a year? Then what can I do next? And what can I do to make myself better a year after that? And what can I do next? And what's the next up and coming thing? So,
were your parents entrepreneurial?
My mom has always kind of been self-employed. She's outside care nurse, or an in-home care nurse. And my dad is more the technology one. He's a German engineer, works for Ford in Michigan. So maybe I did get it from him.
So you got the Beth. Man, we're
both struggling
to say words today. You got the best of both worlds. You got the engineer mind and also the, human touch mind. Because, building out bots you probably make it sound a lot easier than it is, but that takes some good technical expertise. But you're pretty, human, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a people person.
Right.
Yeah. You speak in front of people. You're not afraid to.
That's not true.
Shh. Nobody else knows that.
Yeah, as long as they don't think I'm scared, that's all that matters.
Yeah. But that's good. Most people feel that fear and then they don't take any, they think fear is kind of a feeling to like move away from what they're doing when, fear is really like, that's a sign like that's the direction you have to be going. If
you would ask me a year and a half ago if I was going to be a public speaker, I would have said you were crazy. Mm. And it's funny, I was just at Pete Vargas's event. He's a very good speaking coach down in Colorado Springs, and he was talking about two types of speakers. People that want to be public speakers and people that are drawn and pulled into public speaking because people want to hear their story. And I said, it's not my goal to be a public speaker. It's not my goal to be an author, any of that. And just naturally, people were asking me, what do you do? How do you do it? Tell us about it. And I started to get some practice. And I still only spoke 2 or 3 times last year. Don't tell the conference people that I'm speaking at this year that. But this year, September, I'm going on tour. And I think I have 4 giant conferences I'm speaking at. And my mind is still blown. And I'm scared to death, but, it's just practice, preparation. And as long as I feel confident that I know what I'm talking about, which I slightly do, it's getting over the mindset that the audience is going to judge you. The audience is there and they're rooting for your success as much as you want it. So it's just getting over that fear of failure. And gosh, I think the last time I spoke, I did my speech to myself over 500 times, pacing back and forth.
Really?
Until it became second nature. Growing up, I did dancing. And if you've ever learned anything about dancing, why you practice so many times before the recital is because it becomes second nature to you. You don't have to think about it. You just feel it. It flows. And that's what I'm trying to teach myself now with public speaking is if you know it enough, if you rehearse it enough, you don't have to think about every single word. You're just having a conversation with someone else and you're the expert in the room and they need, they're excited to hear what you have to say and just, kind of get over the nervousness. I feel the hardest part is starting. Because once you start talking, then I feel it goes a little bit better.
Is that the hardest part?
I think so.
Just talking?
Just starting. I think it's harder to do a short speech too, because you have to get more. I think people that go for an hour, they can just talk.
Yeah.
So then it becomes natural. Yeah.
You can eventually get a little more conversational with the audience.
Yeah, you just need to make sure you're not losing interest, kind of. So how do you keep people entertained?
Yeah, that's interesting. So did your kind of lift into speaking appear from the networking and connections you made with people like Molly, for example?
It did, and what also helped is I started to produce a lot of case studies. So I have tracked all of my work down to a T, and everything that I've done, I've kept a case study on, I've reported my numbers, and I've asked for a referral or recommendation. And I got the attention of ManyChat back in March when I was at Social Media Marketing World, and they were asking me to submit these case studies. And that led into the speaking opportunity because they were like, how are you pulling these numbers? It's like, well, let me tell you a story on stage.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So now do you see yourself being a full-time speaker? Is that the direction you want to go?
I like managing my clients. I like being a practitioner.
But you can't scale that way. You
can't scale that way. I like the speaking, and I've been trying to discover different ways to scale. I've been talking to Rick Mulready. He has an accelerator out, and he does an accelerator right now for coaching. So that's something, I'm like, do I want to put together a class where instead of teaching one-to-one, I can teach one-to-many and teach people, not to be intimidated by this technology. So there's just a lot of opportunity right now that I'm evaluating on the best route to take advantage of.
Right. I recently, several months ago, invested in the Sam Ovens Up Level course.
Okay.
Highly recommend that one. Seriously. For what you're talking about doing. Mm-hmm. It's like perfect way to scale to $100K a month.
Oh, great.
With
That'd
what
be fun.
you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. His business is probably doing 30 million this year.
That's
and
amazing.
no one knows about him. So have you heard of Sam Ovens before?
I haven't.
Yeah, check out his stuff. I'll give you a link or referral over to my dude, because there's a lot of guys out there who teach you how to like productize your business in the way that you're talking about.
Right.
Because we went through the same phase. Like we're we service clients, we have clients, we do done for you, and it's hard to scale that way. Very hard to scale, exponentially in the done for you side and the managed services side. So productizing your service is a good direction to go, but not if you got to do it the right way.
Right.
And $100K a month is,
that'd be a good day.
It's a pretty good day.
Yeah. Yep. I keep reminding myself it's only been 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's enough opportunity in front of me that I'm extremely grateful for it. I'm excited, and I'm just trying to do my best to learn from everyone and choose the next step that's right for me without trying to force or rush it.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you came and shared a bit of your testimonial of just connecting up with people that you see as mentors in your space. Something I've been talking about forever. It's like, if you want to be the best, can salesman, like go find the best can salesman and go like learn from them.
Exactly.
You can't obtain success or progression in your career without other people in your space that are doing it and killing it with it.
Right. Mentorship, I think, is one of the most valuable things. So I talked about the community, but I also have a few people, that are my go-tos. I'm like, I am stuck. I feel stuck. What do I need to do next? I look at these people as mentors. And then I also have friends that are stuck in their 8 to 5, and they're asking me, what did you do? How do you get out? So it's just a progression of having a mentor, being a mentor, and constantly learning and providing value in every space of your life.
What do you feel keeps people from pursuing that?
I feel people think they just need to jump. And that's scary. Unless you have, how much saved up to cover your butt for the next 6 months in rent and bills and, then you have to build your client base and you have to keep your client base and you have to understand your product, service, pricing. I mean, there's still people today that don't know their pricing or that aren't charging enough or that could be charging more or they don't know, like, the proper lead gen system. I had someone and they're like, I can't start my business yet. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I don't have a website. And I'm like, I haven't had a website for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like, they'll get stuck on the wrong thing.
They get hung up on the
Yeah, it's the limiting beliefs and like, well, how do you do that? Like, that sounds impossible. And it's like, you just need to get started somehow. So maybe, stay in your 8 to 5, but moonlight. Oh gosh. Sorry. Oh, long hair. Sorry.
I'm back in. That was pretty impressive. Like that was there the whole time and just like shot back. Yeah, it was a good catch. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel I'm so back and forth on this because you can have an amazing, successful entrepreneurial career in the right vehicle without starting completely from scratch. Without having to build completely from the ground up. Find someone who's like, if someone's interested in chatbots. And they're like, wow, Carrie's already built these foundations here. I should go work for her for free for 6 months. And then maybe I'll kick ass and she'll hire me and I'll be a part of her team and we'll build even more together than if I just try to go do this on my own.
Right. And the other thing, too, like we were talking about earlier, is generalizing. Too many people, even in the digital space, want to be a generalist. And they're like, well, I need to know social and I need to know web development and I need to know
digital marketing
and
now.
It's like, no, you need a niche. Like one of the biggest things that allowed me to be so successful and to grow so quickly was by niching down. I said, I'm not going to do just social media. I hate writing content. I'm not going to manage communities because it's hard to determine ROI on that. I said I'm going to do Facebook advertising for e-commerce and direct response and sell things because if I put $1,000 in and get $5,000 back, that's a good day for my client and I'm going to keep my job and there's an ROI directly related to it. So for me, it made the most sense. Same thing with building the bots. I said I'm not only going to, niche in Facebook ads, but now I'm going to niche in Messenger bots. Not a lot of people were doing that. So that actually gave me an advantage of, being in a little pond and being a big fish and being able to get these clients because not everyone is trying to do it right now.
Right.
So it allowed me to rise up really quickly as a specialist in an industry or an area that people don't really understand. And I mean, it took some
And the same thing you're sharing with me right now is how I've not this isn't a brag, but like 2 years. I'm maybe 2 or a little longer than that, like 4 years into B2B in this company. And like I'm known in the industry just from doing what you said, like just focusing in a lane.
Yep. It's all you have to do. And people don't get that. They're like, well, is that too limiting? And it's like, I mean, you can get to a point where things are way too limiting, but right now it's not. And you have to believe in what you're doing. I remember in 2017 when I came to that agency I was contracting with, it's like, we need to do messenger marketing. And they said no. If I would have just taken that response from them and dropped it and not pursued it, I would not be where I'm at today. And I said, you know what? I believe in this. I'm going to take the lead on it, figure it out, and keep testing these until it becomes something. And now it is something 2 years later. So it's just really, having that confidence in what you're doing. And you need to love what you do, too. And I kind of nerded out on it. So I spent a lot of time in the tool, too, which also was able to help me excel. But
Yeah. So no, I think this is a really good conversation. I think that, again, I'm still back and forth on like, maybe you would encourage entrepreneurship. I am still back and forth on it because like it's such a popularized thing now because the barrier to entry is nothing, and then people go and create this digital marketing agency and they leave their job that was a vehicle that had a lot of opportunity, and then they're even more miserable because they just created a harder job for themselves that they don't even really like it at the end of the day.
Right. And I think there's also, there's two sides of it too, where there's a difference between, you could be an entrepreneur, and I know everyone's going to debate this term. I've heard it. Like, you could be a freelancer, a contractor, an entrepreneur, and everyone's like, Carrie, what do you do? Are you going to start an agency? And it's like, I right now like being a practitioner. I like managing myself. I like managing my own time. If I were to start an agency, my job and role would completely change. I'd be managing people. I'd be managing payroll.
And you don't want to do that.
Not right now. And I'll say right now because I would have told you a year and a half ago I was not going to be a speaker either. So, I mean, everything changes and so much can change within a year, but find what you're comfortable with right now. Right now, I know I still like to travel, and I'm not going to start an agency on the road. But if I get back settled, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to speak more. I don't know if I'm going to write a book a year from now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So I think you just allow yourself to be flexible. I think too many people are like, if I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I need to do A, B, and C to be successful. And I mean, It's good to have goals and a roadmap, but you don't need all of those like hard things. Like my friend that was stuck up on having a website or something, or figuring out what your personal brand is. And I was just like, I'm Carrie.
Well, that's different.
Up,
that's different than what you're talking about. That's information paralysis, right? You're so hung up on the details that you're not going to actually, take action on the things that are going to matter.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think ego is important too. With that is finding. I mean, like you sought out mentors, and I think a lot of people look. I want to be so bullish on this, is like people see other people that are having success because they see that success on the outside, but and then they kind of like shy away from trying to reach out to them or build a relationship with them. Like you could see Molly Pittman be like, oh, look at this B word, like she's out there killing it, and like, but instead you went and became a student of the game.
Yep. Yeah. It's just, everyone started somewhere.
People get too stuck in their ego.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I've always looked at everyone as like, they started somewhere too. So then I'll even like look at what their steps were to get them to where they are. What was their, first job? Did they move up? Then did they move on? And then what did they pursue? Like with Molly, she started at digital marketer and then became the VP and then became the ManyChat educational ambassador and then teamed up with, I don't know why I'm blanking this, Ezra Firestone. And now they're doing online coaching and scaling. And it's like, she still started how many years ago at that first job to get to where she was. So just, understanding that it's not going to happen overnight and not to be too hard on yourself. Right.
So what's your big, big, hairy, scary dream then? If it's not to be an author, if it's not, you're going to be an author. Because you said it. You said, I'm not sure. So it's probably going to happen.
I don't
then, right?
know.
Not going to be a speaker. We already know that's, past the gate. I said that too. I'm like, I don't want to be a speaker. Like, I don't want to be a motivation person or anything like that. And then it just kind of like happens on its own when you start putting yourself out there.
Right. I really don't have like that big, I don't know. I just know I want to keep being successful in what I'm doing and sharing my stories about what I'm doing, and I know I want to progress as everything else progress.
Right.
If you would have interviewed me 2 years ago, I would have never thought I'd be sitting here talking about chatbots. I thought I would have probably been sitting here talking about Facebook ads. I wouldn't have been talking about these conferences. So whatever comes next, I'm open to, I'm willing to embrace and willing to learn about. And if anything, at the end of the day, I not only want my clients to be successful, but I want people to be able to learn from me and them to be successful and inspired as well.
Got it. What else do you want to share? What you got time?
What we got time for?
Share whatever you want. Got a little more time.
No, do we want to talk about Social Media Day Denver a little bit more?
Let's drop the heat on Social Media Day Denver.
A little bit.
Bring it out.
So,
what is going on?
It is happening on October 5th. Tickets are on sale right now through the end of July for early bird pricing. August through September, they'll be regular, but we are going to have some of the best speakers there. I was lucky enough to have a handful of speakers that I got to pick, and I picked Connor to come on.
You're awesome.
I am excited. We decided we wanted a lot of local Denver speakers. Joel Com will be there. We're flying in Brian Fanzo to MC. I don't know if you know Fanzo, but he has a ton of energy. He's so much fun to watch. Andrea Vall will be there hosting a workshop. Andrea is one of the most well-known Facebook ads people. She wrote the Facebook Ads for Dummies book a few years back. Gosh, I'm trying to think who else is there now that we're talking about it. Filmer Sean is flying in.
Some more secretive guests that haven't been announced yet, but
Filmer Sean is the event producer for Social Media Marketing World. Yeah. And also works with Social Media Examiner. So we have some big names coming in, but everyone is going to bring so much energy. I'm so excited to have them there. And it's
because marketers are fun people.
We are fun. We're a lot of fun.
Good-looking group of people. We're fun people,
And it's the perfect opportunity, too. I mean, if you can't go to these big conferences like I was talking about, I mean, these conferences, the bigger ticket ones, are going to be $1,500, $2,000.
Right.
Our ticket's only $100. See if your employer or someone can expense it, or if you can't just expense it. And then you get to connect to all of these people locally. And I think 80% of us are coming in from Denver local. So if you're looking for that networking, that relationship building, that mentorship, we will all be there. Outside of being there, we're going to be active present. We're not just going to be hiding in the green room. And we'll have an after party too. So you can come grab a drink with us, pick our brains.
If you're going to put me in the morning, I'm just going to start the after party like right when I get off stage.
Oh gosh, all right, we might have to rearrange the schedule, but
move me. No, that's also the other major reason to attend something like this. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Network with people, build the relationships. Like, don't just go only just for the content, the information, but make some. I've gone to conferences that I've made lifelong friends at, deep relationships, done business from. So it's even more so about the people you're going to connect with while you're there.
Right. And I want to remind people, too, I mean, in 2017, I was sitting in the audience. I was just an attendee. I barely knew anyone. Last year, I was speaking on stage, and I asked if I could build the bot for free. So I did something for free. I connected with speakers and asked if I could build them bots for free. And now it's become a business, and this year, moved up again. So, I mean, you can get a lot out of this. If, you've never been there before, who knows? You could attend, get motivated, and then maybe be on stage next year. I mean, it's possible. Yeah. So it's, we're a good community. We're local. We have a lot of talent here, and it's just, you get into it, or you get out of it what you put into it. But there's just, I don't know. I'm so excited. I love this event, and it's created so much opportunity, and I just want to see more people there, and I want people, coming up and asking me questions and being able to teach them how to do things and connect them, and, maybe bring some new speakers in next year like we're having you in this year. So,
how many new, or is most everyone a new speaker this year from last year?
We have just a couple repeats. Andrea usually joins us. Joel usually is with us. I think Kim Garst might be coming back. I'm not sure if we confirmed her. Fanzo's coming back, but then everyone else is all new. So we want to make sure to get some, fresh, new, young talent in there.
Fresh face.
Yes.
Fresh faces. That's awesome. Cool. I'll drop some links for registration. So I promoted out the pre-launch. That's over with, right?
Right. Yep. So we were doing 50% off early bird tickets. Like that was down to $40 or something. But
guys, got to jump on those opportunities when you see them.
$97 still is not bad to go to this event.
Worth the investment, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
I know me. Like I'm gonna give some people like something they can go take away tomorrow and go start making money on it.
Right. And if you are, if that's plenty in your budget, we do have the workshops. So you're going to sit down with us for at least 90 minutes and be hands-on. So if you want to learn Facebook advertising, you're going to get the opportunity to sit down with Andrea Vall and learn ads. If you want to learn chatbots, you're going to get the opportunity to sit down with me, work hands-on on a computer, and we will get you out with a new bot, by the end of the day. So then you actually have, not only the speaking and the inspiration, but, some higher value takeaways if you are interested in investing that time. I think we also have content and copy and Instagram stories for workshops, but
nice.
Just, whatever it is that you're interested in, we want to help you, and we're covering every platform. So we have, YouTube experts, Instagram experts, LinkedIn experts. So these people are not just generalized. They have studied and put 1,000 hours into the platform.
Or 10,000
Or 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Gosh. We should have done this in the morning.
Nah. Lucid's the way to go.
Right.
After your beer and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Well, this has been awesome. So, where can people find that again? Shout out Social Media Day Denver one more time.
Social Media Day Denver. So we have
Instagram,
Facebook, website. So
you don't have a LinkedIn page, I don't think, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm going to get lectured on that, aren't I?
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
No. Personal brand on LinkedIn's more important.
All right.
Yeah. I won't lecture on that one. And how can people get in contact with you?
Just through my email, carriegotchak@gmail.com. We're going to have to drop that since no one's going to know how to spell it.
I'll drop it down. Guys, as always, thanks for coming. This has been a blast. Thanks for listening in. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review. It's always very helpful. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Okay, thank you.